I think the first and foremost thing is like looking for too much advice. Uh, what works for me might not work for you. What works for me might not work for someone else. So just figure out what works for you and stick to your process instead of worrying about how many marks to give or what kind of books do I need to refer to or what kind of materials do I need to refer to. Just try to understand how you would want to tackle the exam. And the second thing to avoid is to not worry about your percentile a lot. Uh, there are times where you could score a 60 percentile or a 80 percentile, and there are times where you could score a 99.9 percentile as well in your marks. So don't be elated or don't be stressed about it. Just keep a calm mind and just figure out what you learn from each mock, and just go about it, and don't look for too many answers. So I'm just focusing on the current affairs and my past academics and revising what I do here at work. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now, and hoping to see how I can ace the interviews. So the foremost thing is to revise whatever you've learned in the last week, or just 2 days before the exam. Just if you are into the habit of making notes, revise whatever you have learned so far. One thing which I consciously used to do is keep track of all my mistakes so that I've committed any kind of conceptual mistakes or any kind of silly mistakes that I made during my mocks. So I spend the entire week revising those mistakes to make sure that I don't do those repeat those same mistakes during the CAD exam. And apart from that, there's nothing really which you need to focus on. Just revise whatever you've learned, and revise from your mistakes at least once before you go for the exam. The most difficult topic for me was geometry, because geometry requires you to know a lot of theorems, a lot of formulas, and to keep a lot of things in mind. And the syllabus itself is very vast. So instead of worrying too much about it, or losing my mind over it, what I did was I figured what are the areas of my strengths in the entire geometry section, and what are my areas of weaknesses. I figured that mensuration was a topic that I really like, or any kind of topic which didn't require me to memorize a lot of formulas or theorems, was something which I was really good at. So I used to focus on those topics or those portions of the portions in the exam, and then for the rest of it, I used to stay away from it, or probably leave those questions in any of the mock tests and in the actual CAD exams. I'd say I'll go subject wise. So in the VARC section, in the verbal ability section itself, focus on para summary. A lot of aspirants, what they tend to do is, since para summary carries a negative marking to it, they only focus on para jumbles and odd one out, because those are theta questions and they don't carry any negative marks. So they feel that even if they mess up a question, there's nothing to lose. But what they don't understand is they're losing the time that they spend on those questions. And para summary questions are essentially your RC questions, but the RC passage is really short, right? So in the verbal ability section, focus on para summary more than your para jumbles and odd one out. For the RC section, there's no one particular topic to it, but figure out what kind of what are your topics of interest. For someone, it could be economics. For someone else, it could be technology, biology, anthropology. So figure out what are your areas of comfort and your areas where you are slightly uncomfortable and would like to avoid that topic, and focus on those areas of comfort first before you fine tune your areas of weaknesses. For the DILR section, I won't say there is any particular topic which is very important. Arrangement is probably, I think, the only topic which comes almost in every mock or in every exam, I'd say. So nail that. And in the quant section, arithmetic, algebra, and geometry are the three pillars of those pure quant sections. So you need to be strong in at least two of them. So for me, it was arithmetic and algebra. For someone else, it could be any of the combinations, but make sure that you nail those two sections, and your third section you can probably choose what kind of questions you want to attempt and what not to attempt. So, like I said, you need to revise from mistakes more than whatever concept. So 1 month into the exam, you can probably start your revision, figure out what you've learned so far, just revise your notes, and keep revising your mistakes, as many mistakes as you can. So you can revisit your mocks that you gave and figure out what questions went wrong. Try to solve those questions again and see, are you able to solve them or not. So I'd say revision. You can start your revision from the last month or last to last month, and uh, just not worry about the entire to revise the entire thing, but first focus on what your mistakes are, and then move on to any other topic would you like if you'd like to revise.